Hi, my name's Kingsley. I work for sales in Enfield. I'll be making my presentation to Clive, my general manager. Okay, so good afternoon. First of all, just a quick introduction in terms of what my project's about and what the process of how I followed it through, basically. The work-based project was to find a problem within the centre that I thought needed addressing or ways to improve it.
Okay.
Now, for me, the biggest problem I had, or what I found that our centre had, was more to do with CRS.
Okay.
Our problems in terms of, for the last year, our CRS score had literally gone quite down, and there was a drastic drop in terms of what the customers the response was in terms of how they scored us, basically.
Okay.
So the first thing I did was obviously using the Toyota Excellence in Problem Solving tool in terms of trying to work out, first of all, ultimate goal in terms of what I wanted to do was, first of all, to improve our CRF score, following on to the ideal scenario, current solution, also working my way through in terms of how I work this out. Now, going deeper into the actual CRS score, the main reason or the main thing what I had to do first of all was to actually look into this, have a look at a few different scores of what customers gave us. So I'm just going to read out a few to you. I'm not going to read too much, but
Okay.
I had one customer which question two, sorry. Please tell us why you gave this score. Obviously this customer scored us a 0.
Okay.
The customer's response was, as a loyal Toyota customer, I purchased 3 cars in 4 years. I could say everything went wrong this time. I honestly don't know where to start. I also looked at another one, which customer, one of the questions was, what was your memorable moment during a handover on your car? Customer's response was, nothing, because the car was handed over by somebody else due to the salesperson having a day off.
Okay.
I didn't just look at the bad ones, I also looked at the good ones in terms of what scores and what response customers gave us. Yes, they had a good relationship with the salesman. Yes, they felt welcome. Now, for me, I'm guessing I would like all my customers, if I was the owner of this place, and obviously in terms of where I deal with my current customers, to feel like it's a special occasion. You're coming down to pick up a car that you feel is something new. That wow factor still needs to be instilled in the customer's experience of picking up their vehicle. So what I did from then onwards was to look at a number of different sales guys in terms of what they do as a handover process, in terms of how they proceed with the handover. So, I'll give you 2 examples. Now, the way I've done this, I asked a few questions in terms of how someone else does their handover. Now, one salesman gave me a list of things that they do throughout their handover process. After the deal is done, firstly, make sure the car has a reg if it's a new vehicle. You've also got one thing that I really did like with this one was set a favourite radio station for the customer. The reason why I like this, obviously, because it made it like it was in tune to that customer's needs, what they like. Obviously, oh wow, you've got my favourite station in there, so you remember things and what the customers tell you, not just do what you want to do. Remember what the customer wants, basically. And then I've got another salesman who gave me very little in terms of what they do. Now, whether it's a good thing for them and they remember everything in their head, but sometimes very little means that you're not doing a lot for that customer or making the customer feel like it's a welcome and obviously a big presentation, a big occasion for themselves. I also looked at, discreetly, sitting down and watching a lot of sales guys in terms of what they did during the handover. Obviously observing, obviously seeing in terms of how they did it, the communication they had with the customer, how the customer felt as and when they was leaving, when they came in, and so forth. So the main objective for me in terms of this CRS was basically handover.
Okay.
So I found that was going to be one of our major biggest problems in terms of the handover process.
Moment of truth.
So what I did, I created this, what we call a 4-day handover rule. Now I looked at a number of different things, or a number of things that should have been done. This is collectively from the whole sales team of what I felt fit for everybody in terms of making it a blanket rule from start to finish. So it's clear, and then obviously the customer feels very much like, yes, remember me, I will always come back to you because you gave me a lasting experience, you made me feel welcome, you made me feel like this was very, very special. Some people may not feel like that, but it always feels like that. When you go and buy a car, you want to feel like, I remember you, I want to buy a car again from you, I will come back to you. So the first thing I looked at was obviously the weekends. Now, one, we don't have we have a technician and the cleaners which finish at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. So setting the rule in terms of no handovers after 12 o'clock on a Saturday. You may be thinking, why would I do this? But why would you want to spend the weekend handing over their vehicle when it's the most predominant time where we get customers that walk in? Plus, you're going to lose opportunities in terms of picking up a new customer and obviously appointments to sell a vehicle. Same again with Sundays. No handovers on Sundays. Sundays is predominantly just sell. Let's try and sell the cars instead of concentrating on trying to fix handover problems or so forth. So, how I did this, I've created a 4-day rule. I've split it into what the sales and admin team are required to do, and obviously the techs and the validators. So I'm going to first start with the techs and validators. Now this is spread over 3 days. Reason being because there's a lot of things, not too many that needs to be done at that time, but that car, come day 4, that car should be ready for that customer to pick up. So, that involves things like PDI, servicing, MOT, and most importantly, one of the most important things, smart repair. Making sure any customer concerns that the customers have made you aware from the beginning has been done and has been checked over and has obviously been well looked after. Fueling up the customer's vehicle. Making sure the car's fuel, obviously you've agreed, how much fuel you're supposed to give the customer is done prior to that time. Again, SuperGuard. The SuperGuard treatment obviously has to be done with the last thing that should be done from the tech side of things, making sure that treatment has been applied. And what I would like to say, or what I think everyone should do, is obviously have a look at that SuperGuard treatment once it's done, just to make sure that you, as an individual, just imagine it's your car, and you're happy with the way it's been presented, or happy with the way it's been done. Going back to the sales and executives, so starting on day one. Day one, first thing is obviously communicating with the customer when to come in to sign the finance docs. Now, as you know, obviously we can't release the vehicle until the finance has been paid out. Signing the finance docs, making sure the customer's insurance is in place. Arranging the Toyota 3 days insurance, give them enough opportunity to even possibly go ahead with a yearly quote from Toyota themselves. Also checking the car has 2 keys. If not, arrange for that to be done. You don't want to wait till the last minute for that you find out it's only got 1 key and now the customer is now going to make another visit, which is going to leave us a sour taste in the customer's mouth. V5. This is one thing that I think is very, very important because we always wait till the last minute to tax the vehicle, the logbook on the vehicle, then to find out the previous owner was a multibility customer. Lo and behold, the customer's now arranged, I've only got an hour slot to pick up my car, but I've now got to tell them, we've got to go to the post office. If you've made the customer aware of this before that, we both have communication in terms of knowing how long it's going to take and what needs to be done prior to that. Day 2. Speaking with the admin, making sure the invoice is done, ready for payout. So you can actually arrange for the car to be paid out before the customer comes in. Call the customer to confirm a collection date and remind the customers of what document needs to be brought in on collection. Obviously, the one thing a lot of customers seem to do is think, oh, well, you didn't tell me I need to bring the 2 keys or the logbook or the MOT certificate from my previous car or my driving license. If the customer's been made aware of this, they feel they've had a good communication with yourself. They feel that you and themselves are in sync in terms of what needs to be done.
When you go to the academy,
Yes.
what's the one document they always ask you to take?
The one document they asked us to take to the academy.
Yeah. When you go to the Toyota Academy, you're asked to take a document later.
This is in terms of the purpose of what you want to achieve from the academy. Yes.
And that document is called a signpost document.
Signpost document.
Because it
Yes.
tells you what to expect
Yeah.
and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's really what we should be doing with our customers. We're telling them not what's going to happen when they're here, we're we're signposting, we're saying this is what will happen.
Yeah.
We will come in, we will sign the finance documents, we will do this, we will do that, we will do that, and then a couple of days later we will hand the car over, whatever time frame we've agreed. I think it's one area that we really can improve on is signposting those customers. Not a nice phrase, I don't think signposting is telling your customers, but that is what we're doing. We're setting an expectation for them rather than, you know, they may have bought a car before and things were different, so that's what they expect.
Well, that's partly what the whole process is obviously making sure that you and the customer is in sync in terms of not any special things or any things that not occur too late, too far down in the pipeline. Again, that's moving on to day 3. Just checking all documents are in the handover sheet, in the folder, ready with a handover checklist. Yeah. One thing I've always said is obviously call the customer prior to that date. Keep the communication going with them. You keep to say to them, nothing to worry about, nothing to be concerned about. Just want to make sure it's still okay to come in 2 days' time. And also, on the actual day of collection, give them a call an hour before, just to make sure they're going to be on time. The one thing you don't want to do is obviously set a time with them. You don't have no communication with the customer. Customer turns up half an hour late, and you're none the wiser of this. You picked up another customer. Now they're waiting. That's also leading on to just making sure, give them that little boost, little confidence that you're ready for them when they come to pick up their car and everything is in place and ready. Also making sure, just make them feel welcome when they come in, give them a coffee, sit them down, tell them, oh, are you excited? Just give them that sort of belief that you're just as excited as they should be. That also comes down to, in terms of, on that day, what the main thing is obviously second phasing with a TC. Now that's obviously, I'm just saying that in terms of whatever products that you've agreed already with the first time, this gives the opportunity for the TCs to give them another second go in terms of any products that's missed that you can actually go through again.
How do you think, or how do you feel that may affect the customer experience though?
Well, I'm hoping that all of this is done at the beginning.
I'm playing devil's advocate. If I've come in to pick my new car up and you've done all that other stuff and that's all really nice, maybe when I come in to pick my car up, what I want to do is pick my car up and go.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, potentially that's going to impact on my experience because you're going to try and sell me something again.
Not necessarily, because the way I like to put it is in the sense of, I was going to introduce you to my salesman, my TC, and just to say thank you for buying a car. Now this is their opportunity to just say, I hope Kingsley's gone through every product with you, make sure that you're aware of everything that he sold, and if it's something you didn't understand, let me know now. Rather than having that bully tactics and just one more, we're going to go through another thing with you just before you drive away. You want to feel like they're not going to take any more money, but you just want to feel that's they're confident in all that.
You want to make sure your investment is as well protected as it can be.
Exactly. Exactly. Now the biggest thing for that again is obviously, if you're going through all of this with the customer, the one thing they're going to do is obviously, one, they're going to remember your name, one, they're going to remember the way you treat them, one, they're going to remember that, oh, it was fantastic, he made me feel welcome, I liked him, I want to make sure I come back to him again and again and again. That's one of the biggest things that I think leaves off in terms of our CRF scores, is that the customer doesn't feel like they're not necessarily being presented to. You're giving them something that is valuable to them, and you know how important that is. And that's also just explaining in terms of the CRS score, understanding what scores the customers have got to give us and why.
But we have to be very careful there because we obviously clearly can't corrupt the customer's view.
No.
All we can do is request that they fill it in, and if they've had a good experience, they return it.
But that's the whole. But that's what I'm saying. So the whole time, if we're all in sync in terms of doing the process the correct way, making the customer, just putting the customer's needs at first, just make sure that it's you feel that this is how I want to be my car to be delivered to me. Why would you not give them a good score?
That's fairly straightforward, really, isn't it?
Well, this is the one thing I wanted to do. Obviously, we run it through a couple of the guys downstairs just to see how they proceed and how they get on with it.
What you should do really with that is cross-reference it with Toyota's Handover blueprint, which I'm sure you've seen on the Academy and things. Just see where that would tie in with that, because obviously TGB have done a big project on Handover blueprint. You've got the issue and the key box and that kind of finishing touches, should we call it, to try and improve the customer experience. But ultimately, unfortunately, people remember bad stuff a lot better than good stuff.
Exactly. Yes.
So, you know, ultimately seeking feedback from the customer. You know, we welcome your feedback. We want the CRS questionnaire back. You know, we do collectively. We're trying to learn. And as I said, for me personally, I think the whole signposting of what's going on, because we deal with car sales every day, but customers don't. For us, it's natural. For us, when something doesn't go as we expected, we deal with it because we're professionals and that's what we do. Unfortunately, most customers are not professionals, and when things don't go as they expect, that causes anxiety. You know, what they expect may not be reality. If we haven't addressed that, as we go through the various stages of a sale, then one could argue that what we're doing is we're setting ourselves up to fail. You know, every customer is different. They are all individuals. I'll challenge you on one other thing, but it means you've got a project on the go. I can only pick my car up on a Saturday.
You can only pick your car up on Saturday. That's not a problem.
I can only do it on a Saturday.
That's not a problem. Like I said, you've got a time slot that's available. I'm not saying not to pick up the car any time after that time. Obviously, you've got to if you have that communication with your customer, make them aware, yes, we would like you to come in at this time. If I explain to you and said to you, we've got the valetters in, they finish at 1 o'clock. I've got a technician in, they finish at 1 o'clock. Now, the only reason why I would like you to come in within those times is obviously if anything does happen, at least I can get that situation sorted before you leave. Rather than saying 1 o'clock, everyone else is gone, I can't do nothing, we've got to wait till Monday now. I'm sure you appreciate the fact that I'm trying to put your needs first rather than what needs to be done. Yeah.
Good. Well, it's the same, we have to sell the whole business, so.
I think the biggest thing with what I'm looking at is, yes, you're right, customers do remember us we only remember the customer remembers the bad things that happen.
Well, they don't always, but they have the way we're wired, they stick in our mind.
Yeah. But I'm sure if we turn it the opposite way around, and obviously making every time they come in feel welcome and feel that they've got a big smile on their face, why would they not come back?
Why would they not? Let's hope they don't do come back.
Yes. But yes, I've also got last bit was in terms of obviously the sales guys. Just give them a checklist that they can always say, yes, this is where my car is, this is what needs to be done, this is what stage it's at to entire.
That's something that could help everybody as long as we can all adopt the same sheet, same plan, same principle, same everything.
Yeah.
What you should do what would be useful would be to walk yourself through the process. Just imagine you bought a car, turned up, what am I expecting?
Yeah.
But try and do that through the customer's eyes as opposed to through your own.
Yeah.
Obviously you clearly do the job and you know what's going to happen and you know how to deal with situations while you're thinking on your feet, but clearly customers don't.
Yeah.
They are expecting a seamless process. You know, if you've parked their car here ready for them to depart in a nice straight line, they don't expect another customer to come and park in front of it. We do. So, you know, just think about what the potential pitfalls are as well. But other than that, I would say, well done.
Thank you. I mean, like I said, that's the thing. One of the things as growing up, my parents always showed me that we obviously treat others as how you would like to be treated, and that's where I thought this is the one key that related to the other sales team will obviously give them that opportunity in terms of if you're speaking off the same name shift and everyone's been treated fairly, then they're getting the same results. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Cheers. Thank you.
Right.